Today we're talking about the Canon 7D. This camera has been around, I think 2009. That was when it was released. The camera does 1080p at 24 frames and 30 frames as well. When we talk about slow-mo capabilities, you can go down to 720p, which I know is not the best in the market, but I mean it's there if you want to use it. So yeah, man, I think the first pro that I will list on the camera will have to be the frame rates. Okay, most cameras that were released back then in that time, most of them did not have 60 frames. I mean, it's in 720, but it's still there, and it's not the best or the worst. I mean, it's still okay. It's still usable as long as you're not gonna be doing some high-end production slow-mo with it. The second advantage about this camera will have to be the memory card slot. Okay, I'm aware. I mean, almost all cameras, let me just put it that way, uses a memory card, but this particular camera here was bumped with the CF card, which, before you get upset or before you start to talk anything, just hear me out. I mean, with the CF card, you guys do know that CF is always better than the SDs. It's actually fast, and it's actually allows you to capture more images faster when you compare it with the SDs. So I think that will have to be one of the advantages about this camera. And the third thing that I'll have to list here will have to be the build quality. Okay, guys, trust me, I've been making a couple of camera reviews on this channel, and you guys do know when it's not nice, I'm gonna list it out there. Alright, this camera here, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna fake anything here. The build quality of this camera is just insane. I'm not sure what Canon were actually doing back then, but it looks like these guys were really prepared to serve us some legit, DSLRs back then. The build quality, I think it's almost the same as the 50Ds, the 5D series. It's built like a tank. Let me just put it that way. Trust me, a lot of professional photographers are still holding on to this camera. It's just crazy, and you will only find out that it's only got a couple of scratches on the body. This camera is very strong, and if you want to pick one up as a professional photographer, I think we will get there very soon, so just stick to this video. I'm not gonna say that the autofocus can be added to our list, but I think somehow it is there, so we need to include it. You guys do know that majority of cameras from back then in 2009 2008, their autofocus, some were not even there. I mean, even if it was there, you're not gonna enjoy it. It's really bad. It's that bad. But trust me, when I put my 50mm here, things seems a bit legit here, man. And this is not even the Canon 50mm. This is the third party. They call it the Young Neo. It still does the job, even though there are a bit of lags and all that. It still does the job. So I think I'm gonna add that to my advantages list. So heading straight to the disadvantages, there are quite a few, and I'm not gonna make things a bit extreme for people who want to purchase this camera, because trust me, if you really know what you want to achieve with a camera, I believe regardless of any camera that you get, you can do that. It does take a single memory card, which is the CF. You do not get any dual memory card here, so it's just a single memory card. Yeah, just that, nothing else. You're not gonna get any other slot. So yeah, it's a single memory card. That'll have to be the first on the list when it comes to the disadvantages, because you guys do know that currently we're rocking on, even the Nikon series, I think the D7000, that uses 2 memory card, and I quite love that. The autofocus system, the autofocus is there, guys. When it comes to photo mode, you are good to go. But I realized something immediately when I switched into video mode. Okay, I think what it does is, before you get into your video mode, the autofocus still works. Once you press the record button, the autofocus stops. So I'm not sure what Canon were trying to do. I'm not really sure if there's a new firmware that has improved these problems, or I'm not sure if it's just my units. But whatever it is, if you're also having this camera and you're experiencing the same thing, I think it's what Canon did here. So just let me know in the comment section. I will really appreciate it very much. I mean, it feels good, man. When I'm holding this camera, it feels good. It's I think it's more like the 5D, because the interface, the menu, the buttons, everything feels amazing. And even with the battery grip, it's just crazy, man. I really wouldn't mind having this camera as my B camera. Honestly, I wouldn't mind at all. I'll really spend money to buy this. But yeah, I did spend money to buy it purposely because I wanted to make a review for the channel. So I spent a couple of rands. I think I paid about 7 grand. No, I think about 8 grand in South Africa, just to get my hands on this camera for you guys to watch the video. So if you are new on the channel, kindly hit on the subscribe button. I will really appreciate it very much. The next thing that I'll point here will have to be the screen. All right, you guys are aware that these days the majority of cameras that are coming out here, they got the articulating screen, and I'm not gonna say it's quite a disadvantage, because the camera was released back then, and back then most cameras were not having that type of, it was very few. So it's not being there, it's not there, but yeah, it's still a disadvantages in case you want to pick this up. So if you are really into videography, and I mean, if you want to do this type of video that I'm currently shooting, or interview type of video, or serious videography, I think it's really gonna be a bummer. I mean, it's really gonna disappoint you. Okay, so when you're buying this camera, you're not gonna get any touchscreen capabilities, unlike most of the current systems that you press to operate. Everything happens with the buttons. Coming from cameras that are actually doing that, like I mean the 90Ds, when you get here it becomes a bit of a pain, because you struggle to dial in until you operate it for quite some time for you to get used to it. Like I said, I'm not really going to pinpoint a whole lot, because I mean, it's still a camera at the end of the day, and it's got a lot of advantages at the end of the day. So yeah, man, if you are someone who wants to get this camera for videography work, I think it will depend. Okay, it will really depend on what you really want to do, and as long as you know the limitations and you're willing to cope with it, then I guess you're free to do it. So you're free to purchase. But if you are into photography, it's what I'm gonna say is just go for it. Okay, 18 megapixel, solid. I mean, majority of cameras are still running on 18 megapixel currently. They are still producing the whole cameras with 18 megapixels. So 18 megapixels is really not that bad. It does the job perfectly, as long as you get yourself some awesome glass and put it on, especially this one. Trust me, you're going to get some insane footages, and there's a review about that coming soon. So like I said, click on the subscribe button to stay tuned. I love the camera, I'm not gonna lie, it's an awesome camera. I wouldn't mind having it as a B camera, even a main camera if I don't have a camera at all. So yeah, man, thank you very much for coming. If you got any questions about this camera, list it in the comment section. I'll really appreciate it, and I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.